Today we're going to look at Leviticus 8, and we're going to look at how God prepares people, how God prepared Aaron and his sons, and how God would prepare me, how God would prepare you for tasks that would await us, things that He would want us to do so that we would be ready when the time comes for us to take action. So read with me in the book of Leviticus, and I'm going to be reading verse 35 and verse 36, and it says the following. Stay at the entrance of the tent of meeting, day and night for 7 days. Be sure to do what God requires, lest you die. This is what I have been commanded. Aaron and his sons did everything that God had commanded by Moses. Aaron and his sons were given no easy task. They were to be the priesthood to the nation of Israel, as commanded by God through Moses. We see here that Moses explains to them things that were supposed to happen. And they underwent a stringent set of rituals, of sacrifices, of offerings that Moses had them go through in response to what God had asked him to do. When all of this was done, Moses said to them that they should stay in the tent of meeting for the next 7 days. They were not to leave it. Day and night they were to stay there. They were not allowed to leave through the entrance until the 7 days had been completed. Aaron and his sons, normal men like you, like me, normal men from the nation of Israel, were called to a task, and God, knowing that it would not be easy, wanted them to go through a process. Not the process that would make them perfect, because as we'll see later, they didn't stay perfect, but a process to prepare them for this mammoth task that laid ahead of them. Today I want to focus our attention on two specific topics. Firstly, the call of God on the lives of men and women to stand up and become disciples. Secondly, God's call on men and women to become parents. And fathers, I especially want you to pay attention to that point. Jesus had many followers. Even today He's got many followers. Think about Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. If you are on any of these social platforms, you most likely have a number of followers or friends. Similarly, you are probably following many others. Many of them you don't actually know personally, or they don't know you at all. Some you know, but rarely, if ever, speak to, engage with, or join in activities with. With some you may see a post come through, but you never look at it. Some you glance over, some you pay attention to. You read it, think about it. It makes a difference in your thinking, your actions, your life. It changes you. And similarly, you get the same from others. Like I said, Jesus had many followers, many friends. And in the same way, most of what we just looked at applies to Him and that situation as well. He had many who followed Him, but never knew Him. He had many who followed Him and saw some of the miracles, knew Him a little bit, but never knew Him personally. He had many who saw Him come past, heard about Him, but that's it. And then He had those who followed Him, those who stuck with Him, those who did everything that He asked them to do. God wanted Aaron and his sons to be prepared, because what lay ahead of them was too big for them. It would wear them out, drain them, make them feel like striking out at the people, or giving in to the people. God is calling for disciples to sign up, to follow, to be friends, not from a distance or just out of interest, not as spectators, not to be part of the crowd, but who would stand up against the wind and the waves, against the onslaught of the storm, against the ridicule, the taunts, the threats, and against the temptations. This will not be easy. This will require guts, perseverance, dedication, and the ability to weather the storms, the ability to stand strong against real danger and to swim against the current. And therefore it requires preparation. It requires a time of separation, a time to consecrate yourself for the task ahead of you. Because when you step out that door, the race is on. Ready, player one. I want to close it out by talking to parents, fathers and mothers. But like I said, fathers, please pay close attention. Last night, my wife and I were talking about the kids and how we are monitoring their success, their progress, how we were monitoring what they were doing, but more importantly, why they were doing it, why we were doing it. You see, when it comes to being parents, it's not something to get done, to get past, to get them out of the house. It is a calling and a responsibility God places upon us to guide them, to lead them, to bring them up for a day that is still to come, for boys to grow up to be men, men that will serve God and stand in the gap for their families, men that will respect women in general, but especially their spouse and their daughters, their mothers, and yes, even their mother-in-law, men that will take accountability, be productive contributors in society, men that will become great fathers, not afraid to love and to show love, for girls that will grow up to become women, women that will serve God and show His love through their tenderness, women that will respect their husbands, women that will be strong in a world that wants to make them cheap, women that will be nurturing mothers. The list can go on and on. This is no easy task, but that is what parenthood is about. Preparing our kids for all that they can become. Like I said, it's not about getting the job done. It's not about just seeing them grow up and get out of the house. It's about every decision. It's about every step. It's about every action. It's about everything we do to help them grow up to become the men and the women that God wants them to be. Too many kids struggle through life because growing up, they were tolerated rather than taught. They were tolerated instead of being raised. Know why you are doing what you're doing. Most importantly, pay close attention to what it is that they're supposed to learn from you. Don't continue to do things for them that they're supposed to be doing on their own, that they're supposed to learn to do when they grow up. It may seem like you're helping now, but it might just trip them up someday. And here I want to come back to where Aaron and his sons were told to stay in the tent of meeting for 7 days before they could come out. Parenthood is not just a one-time prep. It is a continual school, but it should start with you, with every new journey you step out on, taking the time to prepare, to consecrate yourself for the task ahead, so that when the door opens, when you step out of the tent of meeting, when that son or daughter arrives, that you are in the best possible position to be the best father or best mother that you can be. Every step your kids are going to take, be there for them. Listen, understand, guide them, lead them, and help them on this journey, because one day they're going to have to stand on their own, and hopefully you would have brought them to the place where they're able to do so. Be blessed.